Halt! Stop! 1 second! Wenn ihr dasselbe Video in deutscher Sprache sehen wollt, schaut hier oben auf den Link in der Ecke. Welcome to a new Schnittlabor video.
3, 2, 1. Schnittlabor International Review.
Today I want to show you how to transform your DJI Mavic MINI into a professional camera drone or video drone using the DJI OSMO Pocket. The DJI OSMO Pocket can do 4K resolution up to 60p, whereas the DJI Mavic MINI can do maximum 2.7K at 30p. You're not really able to create such a nice slow motion effects, and also the resolution is a little bit lower than 4K, even though video quality comparing to other drones of this kind of price or dimension is excellent, because also this camera here has the very advanced 3-axis camera gimbal, which is of course much better than most of the camera of this kind of price range drones. How do I come to this idea? When we have a look at this little screenshot I made 3 days ago, I saw a video from WeTalk UAV where they mounted a GoPro 8 camera onto this Mavic Mini, and I thought, well, this is maybe possible to do much better, because sticking the GoPro 8 here on top, on one hand it leaves traces on this material, on the other hand also it becomes very unstable because you have the whole weight of the GoPro on top here. So I didn't think it's a very good idea. And also I thought, of course, why not using the perfect 3-axis stabilization of the DJI Osmo Pocket to connect it here, and at the same time mount it backwards, because then you have cameras pointing into 2 directions. You have much more material to work with, and at the same time you have this much better picture quality. I just want to warn you, if you are making such a construction, then for example in the United States you will have to register this. You cannot fly without registration anymore, because this Mavic Mini has less than 250 grams, and therefore you don't need registration. Whereas if you start to combine it with objects like this, then of course it would not be illegal to fly it in public space anymore. On the other hand, for example, in Germany, you have to stick a name and address on the drone once it starts to be more heavy than 250 grams. I saw also 1 day ago like a German copy of the same video, which I thought is not so creative, but in both cases, of course, they stick this GoPro connector here on top, which is leaving traces, and I wanted to avoid this, and I wanted to create better fly properties for the Mavic Mini. At the same time, I found yesterday, when I checked the internet, one more video from air photography. And in this video, the guy already starts to create a video where on one hand he is connecting it to the GoPro 8, and on the other hand he's using the same GoPro adapter to bring the Osmo Pocket in kind of like this way, connected in that way to the drone. But at the same time also then you have again this very difficult balance situation, which makes it much more difficult to balance itself for the drone. And therefore I think really to bring it as close as possible to the drone will lead to best results. But you should be very careful. If you are too far out with the weight here, then something like this is going to happen. And this, of course, you want to avoid. Therefore, watch out, bring the weight more towards the center so that the drone is somehow still balanced, and at the same time you have to leave enough space for the gimbal to work here in space so that it will not touch the end of this drone in this place here. So with that being said, I will start to show you this construction. All you need, and in best case you do this because this is the most light version which I was able to think about. You have two little pieces of ancient rubber which you can probably find in any store. They have almost like kind of, let's say, no weight. I will put them here because the surface here is not really straight. It's a little bit like bumpy, and so to kind of work against it and make it a little bit more flat, I will put them like this. And I will put these two pieces of rubber around the drone. So I open the first two wings, how to call them, I'm not sure. Then I take rubber and I start here in the end of the drone and carefully I will pass it on the side like that. Also trying not to bother this internal camera too much. And if you see here, the idea is to put it behind these kind of wings, so that now when I take them away, I can just pass the rubber easily into this direction. You also have to be very careful not to get too close to these kind of two sensors here, because they are the distance sensors for the drone, the only ones which it has. And if you would kind of hide this area, then after starting the drone would immediately assume that there is something very close underneath, and it would probably shoot up like a rocket, which we don't want to provoke. So we can close these two wings one more. First I will pass it carefully around the wings and then behind this little, maybe I said some kind of nonsense in between. So we have a very strong rubber here and a little weaker one here. Then you take your DJI Osmo Pocket, put it in like that. I go, as you can see here, over these two buttons so that I can use them still for controlling and settings. And then the forefront of it I will put in this height so that if I switch it on for a second, something went wrong with the gimbal in between, is maybe because of this little crash you saw already. And then you just move it up so that you can see the whole display here. Yeah? I will, as I told you already, put these little pieces of rubber here. One in the end, one in the front. And by putting these little pieces of rubber downstairs, the whole construction starts to be really kind of stable, but still you should be sensitive. You should also really look closely and watch out that the Osmo Pocket is really kind of like centered very well, that the camera can move freely, but also it should not be too much in the end, because I told you this kind of like weight thing, this is what you have to care about. And then when you have the right position, the whole thing is basically ready to go. So let's check it out.
Take off.